I thought I would share with you something that when I shared my last video from the hotel in New Orleans, I had a lot of people message. Always get a lot of feedback, and so I thought I would answer some questions about this really old bear. Now we found out when if you watched the last video, if you've been following along with Instagram, that her crown had gone missing. And so I had even Googled little headband tiaras. I don't know, we'll just have to see what comes along. But in the meantime, I thought I had this, I had laundered her little dress because, we were all over the place there in Louisiana, in New Orleans. And so it needed a fresh laundering and it needed some mending. And so I did all that, and then I just pressed it this morning. And I was going through my bedroom and I came upon the flower crown that she's now Rachel Olsen, Shabby for Me. Some of you know her, familiar with her work. Beautiful, beautiful work. So we're just gonna let her wear the little flower crown. I had to just squeeze it and do a little adjusting. But some of you are asking, where was she a childhood bear? Did I have her when I was a little girl? Is she made of mohair? How long have you had her? Back in 2014, I'm trying to piece together, because before something becomes a thing, you don't pay attention to all the details, and then all of a sudden it's a thing and you're trying to remember when did she come and what were the circumstances. And so what had happened was, here we have little Sophia with us, and she was just a toddler, and I was searching for children's books and things, and we'd heard about Jane Hissey and her Old Bear books, and she's an incredible. Her illustrations are just amazing. So we're reading this book, and there's Old Bear. So then it's not long, and Sophia wants to know if there really is an old bear, and she wants one. And so, of course, Grammy does an internet search, and we found one. She had these created years ago, and they were out of production, and so we were just lucky to find one used on eBay. Well, while I was doing that search around that time, I had discovered and come across a photograph of the real stuffed animals from Winnie the Pooh, from Christopher Robin, the original set. And the bear wasn't anything like the Disney World version. I grew up in Orlando with Disney World and the Disney World Pooh. And so I found out that this was more of what the bear was. So we named her Winnie Bear. So we have Old Bear. I got her, we just decided to call her Winnie Bear. Well, this is a Mary Thought bear, and you can see her label. When the movie just came out not that long ago, Goodbye Christopher Robin, Mary Thought Bears created the bear for that movie, the Edward bear, that was supposed to be just like the original Winnie the Pooh. And so we have Winnie Bear, we have Old Bear, Winnie Bear. So while I'm doing all this search, when you search for old bears all this search, this bear popped up, and she didn't have anything on her, no bows, there was no pedigree, there was no gold button in her ear, there was nothing, just no tag, nothing that told me where she came from, but she just had this face that she just spoke to my heart. So I had ordered her. I don't even know what I paid for. And so she was really for me, but Sophia loved her. As soon as she sees anything that comes out of the box, she just took over. Well, the bear was really old. So it's not a far stretch to, how we name things. Her name became really Old Bear because she was older than Old Bear. She was really old. Well, then she got so frail, she was, and Sophia was just kind of dragging her around, so I thought I kind of tucked her aside. Back in 2011, I had ordered some dolls off eBay, some antique dolls, and two of them came together, and so one was a little baby doll and one was a big baby. So the big baby doll was named Big Baby for obvious reasons. She was big. She was just a big baby, and she had this hodgepodge wardrobe, this old gown. She had a little sweater, a little cardigan, and some bloomers, and just some ragtag little things. Well, at some point, Sophia had decided she didn't want those clothes on her, and she'd change her around. And so I just slipped a little dress on Really Old Bear and tucked her away, and found it sticking her out in my studio, up in the little carriage that I had gotten back in 2014. So it was all around that time. So she'd been sitting in my studio all this time. Once we got it finished, I guess it was 2015 was when we finished the studio, and she just sat up there. And then our friend Diane, little cowgirl, had come for a visit one time, and she had a little tiara, and she said, "Oh, here's Sophia, here's a little tiara for you." Well, she didn't want to wear it, and it was a headband, and it didn't stay on her, and so to keep it from being lost, I just stuck it on Really Old Bear's head. So when I tell stories, it's not something that's contrived or made up or calculated. They're really things that have happened natural, a natural progression of events. And so it's hard when people say, "Well, when did that?" I don't know. I'm thankful for Facebook memories that pop up and give me kind of a timeline. And so I'm seeing pictures now pop up from 2014 where you see Really Old Bear kind of, laying back in a chair, or you see Big Baby and she's got the ace bandage wrapped around her head because she suffered a fall, and then she got left out in the rain and mildewed, and so there's no longer a Big Baby, but her wardrobe remains. And so when I was stitching mending her little sleeves, and I just looked, it's a handmade dress. It was handmade in the Philippines, and it's I have a baby doll dress that was passed down in our family. And so I keep it in my memory cabinet. It's special. But I just, I get to mending, and I think, what baby wore this, and what family had it, and was there no longer a family to keep it or to treasure it? And so that's the story. Someone had asked if she's mohair, and I said, I don't know what she is. I believe she is. I know she is filled with Excelsior stuffing, and I did some research on that, and they said that they stopped creating or using that as a stuffing, I think, around 1950. So some of you that maybe have more information or might know what, she may have just been, I don't know where she came from, but she loves her little slippers, and I've had to pin them in because they kept slipping off. So I've tucked, which killed me to do it, but I've tucked little pins in there just so, especially after losing that tiara. We don't want to lose the slippers. So, and I'm sitting here, some of you had asked about the quilt. This belonged to my grandmother, and it's the only thing I have from her, my dad's mother from Kentucky. And so that stays here. We don't use it a lot. It's tattered and falling apart. So all these little things, all these stories, they come out sometimes in the books. Sometimes I can't write the books fast enough, so I just share what I can on Instagram stories or on Facebook, or kind of have little blogging entries on my Instagram. So if you're not following there, I hope you'd come and join me over there and see what's going on our day in, day out basis under Christy Jones Ray. And if you like these videos, if you want to subscribe, just push the little button, as they say. And I hope you'll join me as I think of things to share with you. Hope you'll have a great day, and it's so good to be back home. It's wonderful to go and travel, but gosh, it's good to be back home. So, from Rosewater Cottage, I will leave you with these words as I say, go be brave and love